Hello and welcome to Diamond Cast, the music show with Diamond Black. This week we're diving headfirst into the mud, music and mayhem of festivals. From first gigs and dream lineups to Hellfest chaos and food disasters, get ready to hear the band's stories of being both an artist and a punter at music festivals. We're talking everything that makes festivals unforgettable, better or worse. Plus, some laughs, a few more stories, some questionable memories, and an update on the Fall Into the Silence fundraiser. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the episode of Diamond Cast that brings in the summer. We're talking about festivals today, everything from what your favourite festival has been, the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a festival, and anything you've met, any bands you've met, any people you've met, any cool collaborations that have happened because of going to festivals, all sorts of things like that. So stay tuned for probably more bands than before. Because we've been doing mental health for like a month. So now we're going to be doing something a little bit more happy, a little bit more exciting, a little bit more summery.
We've all gone a bit summery with our looks as well, haven't we? So, Adam, your hair's looking particularly red. Has it been sunburned?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a bit more brown than normal. I might have been out in the sun. I've been working in the park, so it's been quite nice.
It's all right for some.
Well, you got like a summer job mowing the lawn.
I'd actually love that. I actually love cutting the grass. But I get really bad hay fever.
Someone to cut their grass, seriously.
I love it. My dream is to like one of those little ride-on mowers that you sit on and ride around. That'd be wicked.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Nat, you're looking very summery as well. I like this vibe. Very good.
I put a festival outfit on because we're doing festivals.
A festival.
Oh, nice. Why did we never think of that? Festival. The ultimate festival.
I know.
Yeah, true.
I feel like you're going to like come out of it at some point, Superman style.
Well, to reveal. Well, actually, I'm wearing this because one, it's just a bit cool, a bit Garth from Wayne's World. I like it. But specifically, I'm wearing this because this was created by Eva, who has often done our merch. She did our merch in France, if you remember. And it's very... You ready for the reveal?
I knew it's coming. Wait, we go. Oh, cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
That's so cool. Does anybody else want one? Eva, you might have got yourself a job there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, really, really cool. Look, I haven't cut the sleeves off yet.
No.
So it's...
nice to see you in a sleeve, Ben.
It's nice, isn't it? Nice.
I don't hate it.
So this is really, really cool. And it's been nice because where I live, even when it's summer, it's still cold-ish. So it's nice to have some sort of outdoor garment. Plus, I really struggle with getting sunburned. Otherwise, I have a massive fear of it. So just having some kind of layers helps.
Vampire.
Yeah, or campfire. So yeah, it's like, and it's very light and light, summery, and protects me from the sun, which is nice.
So the when it's sunny, you don't wear a vest because you don't want to get sunburned. So you wear a shirt as a jacket.
I've never realised how illogical the whole thing is. Like cold vest, hot coat.
Okay.
And I've got a great photograph that my dad took of us on holiday when I was 14. And have you ever seen that a Saturday Night Live sketch, Goth on Vacation?
Oh, I don't think so.
It's, well, basically, imagine teenage goth on vacation.
Right.
That's basically what it's making fun of. And that was absolutely me. So this is a picture of me where we're at the beach, but I've got like full on long black coat, black hat,
nice,
dark glasses, Dr. Martens, and I'm actually lying in the shade, like the one bit of shade I can find on the beach, at the shade of a rock.
with
just looking really
umbrella and stuff.
yeah, with like this Victorian umbrella.
Yeah.
Just looking like really morose and hating everything. And I sort of carried that forward, really. I do appreciate the sun a bit more now these days, but I still feel a bit fearful of it, and like a kind of almost PTSD trauma of.
You got an aversion to like the heat as well, because you're like obsessed with having fans on all the time when we go on the road and stuff.
Yeah, I do, and there's plenty of fan-based hilarity coming up in this episode.
Oh, is there?
From the homework that I've been doing. Okay, so yes.
I feel your aversion to the sun. I remember there's a photograph of me taken at this year is like VE Day, 80 years since the war, right? And it was at VE 50. There was a street party, and I'm the only child in the whole table of the street party that's sitting there crying.
Oh.
Right? Everyone else is celebrating and waving flags and eating crumpets and stuff. And I'm sitting here, sandwiches with a crust cut off. And I'm sitting here and I'm crying because the sun's in my eyes and I hate it. And I just wish the whole party would end, just because I just couldn't stand the sun. And that was just what kind of a small child I was.
Well, sun can be pretty oppressive if you haven't got any shade. It can.
Well, it's okay. Yeah,
I like it now, though. I really like it now. But because we get so little sun in the UK, I'm just so happy when it is sunny.
True.
So yeah, and this is the theme of the week, isn't it? Who's got weather on the bingo card? Because in the UK it's been like crazy hot.
I don't mind talking about the weather
for people in America.
Happening. I just don't like the weather forecast. So talking about the normal weather is okay.
What about weather dreams?
That's the worst, man. It's all combined. It's all combined.
Two wrongs don't make a right, though.
No.
I had a great dream about weather. Do you want to hear about it, Adam?
No.
It was a bit cloudy, and then it cleared up. I was such a crazy dream.
I dream about tornadoes all the time. They're really good.
It's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting weather.
Yeah, because it's like you don't know if you're going to live or die. So it's like the tornado's coming. What do you do? Yeah.
I imagine, well, maybe some of the people who watch this cast may live in places on the planet where there is extreme weather, and they have to just be not like like they have to. That's sort of part of it's normalized. It's part of their kind of daily, not daily, but they're aware of it. Like places with earthquakes.
Yeah, they might have like a tornado shelter or something like that, which is something completely, novel to us. But like that's something that's part of their lives.
Yeah, and I guess we are very, very fortunate in this country that we then never really have anything extreme happen weather-wise. It's just very...
Just always shit.
Well, absolutely, but I think I prefer
it's
that.
When we went to Florida, and then there was like, "Oh, we're sorry the weather's so bad," and it's like 25 degrees. It was like our summer, and they were like, "Oh, you come at a really bad time. The weather's horrible. Sorry," and they're all complaining about the weather to us. So we're like, "This is great. This is our summer."
Yeah, there was a guy I was chatting to yesterday who said that where he's originally from, summer's like 52 degrees and that's fine and he likes it. I'm like, what? How? But that's insane. That's like, surely that's a different planet. That 52 degrees is just unbelievable.
Fahrenheit.
I'm rubbish at this. Whatever it is we call it over here.
Celsius. It was 52 degrees where? Where is it 52 degrees Celsius?
The middle of the desert.
The equator. I didn't think people could survive in 50.
No, I agree. I thought that was like in uninhabitable climate. People do experience real extremes, and it's quite in different places of the world. It's quite normalized. There was one guy who was telling me about how it's like sub-zero loads of the time, and they just find ways of living with it and working around it. And it wasn't Aberdeen. It was somewhere like Finland or something like that.
The thing is, we're tying this into our festival discussion. That's why, like, it's so hit and miss in the UK. Like, so Download, for example, is always the start of June, I think. And I've been, like, 20 odd times, and literally 50% of them are lovely in the sun, and 50% of them you're, like, fucking wading through mud. So
but you don't have anything in between. It's either one or the other.
Yeah. So it's always there's no consistency in the UK, which is why it's.
That's a good point, actually, because you don't really know what you're going to get with a festival in the UK, do you? And you don't really know what to pack for, and if it's going to get like completely rained off when there's the band on that you want to see or whatever. Adds to the excitement, I'm sure.
So, what's the one thing that you always take with you, no matter what?
Well,
inflatable bed thing. When I used to sleep in. Oh, actually, it ties into my fucking story. So, like, I realised having an inflatable mattress in the tent is the comfort item of choice. So you're not just sleeping on a sleeping bag on the floor. But then I was at Glastonbury one year, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, the ground's a bit bumpy. And it had rained so much in the night that the whole field had been flooded, and I was actually floating in my tent on my inflatable. Like, everything's ruined, and I'm like in a little island floating on the tent.
So it becomes a pool floaty.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was everything else got ruined. Yeah, but I was dry, but then I had to get wet to get out. So that's pretty horrible. But yeah, inflatable.
Couldn't you just like paddle, like if you were on like a lilo? Could you not just paddle?
Pretty much game
out
over.
Of the tent.
No, my phone was ruined. Everything was ruined. All the clothes were soaked. Yeah, and that was on the day one of the festival.
Oh, excellent!
That was nice.
Great start.
What's your most important thing to take, Ben? A fan?
Yes,
2 fans. It's got to be more than one fan.
Well, if you can get more, great. But that's exactly what I've written down. Fans.
Nice.
We should play this as a game next time. Just not ask.
Oh, try a guess. Try a guess.
Like that Mr. and Mrs. show, where you have to guess what the other.
I love that was your go-to for that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mr. and Mrs. show, but the concept of it was that each partner had to be quizzed on the other one's answers to certain questions. So it was like, how well do you know your partner? And I haven't thought about the Mr. and Mrs. show for a long time. So thanks for bringing that back.
I've got the board game
the
version.
70s.
Yeah.
There's videos on YouTube of reruns, and it's really funny how they either get the right answer and it's a stupid answer.
That might be quite a funny section we could do on the cast sometime.
Yeah, we just think of some amusing name for it that sounds a bit like Mr. and Mrs. I'll work on it, pun-wise.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Be good. Yeah, and then people can send in their questions, you see.
I love that.
We got some questions for today as well. Loads of people sent some questions about festivals as well.
Yes.
So got those.
Questionables.
So yours is fan then, Ben? And Adam
yes.
is inflatable mattress.
Yeah, although after that event, I only ever try and take a camper van or like get a hotel now. And that was the end of my tenting experience.
That was going to be one of my other questions.
Yeah.
Like, what do you prefer to sleep in? Like, do you guys still camp or?
Ben definitely does.
Yes, I love to camp. Well, listen, the good thing about our festival essentials is that we can actually combine them and make a boat. Nice. Because you could use the fan.
like in Florida, like when you go through the marshes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, we could make one of those, which would be great because then if a situation happened again, like the one when you got flooded, you could escape the situation using my fan as a way to propel the boat to safety.
Nice.
So let's make this interesting. What do you guys think Vincent's would be? Because he's not here, obviously. And we have decided, I think I've decided just now that I'm going to ask him the same questions and see if you get them right.
Well, I'd say
tough, isn't he?
I'd say, well, it's pretty tough. I'd say pillow, but he doesn't need a pillow to sleep anyway.
Yeah.
Probably drum warm-up pad.
Just drumsticks. Even if we're not playing,
you never know, because it might be one of those situations you see in a movie of like, oh my god, guys, the drummer he's gone missing. Can anyone here play the drums? Is there anybody here? Which actually used to be one of I used to carry. I still do carry a guitar pick around at all times just in case that happens at a gig. Is there anyone here who knows how to play this song? Like, yes, me.
In the event that you didn't have the pick, be like, yes, me. Oh, but I don't have a pick, and they'd be like,
pick me.
No, would never happen. Checking pockets now. Don't have pick. Oh no. But I think that was the reason why I did that was because when I was 17, I went to see Green Day, and I think they always did this, and maybe even still do it. Got someone up from the audience to play.
Yeah, they always do it. They've been doing it for like 25 years at least.
And
it's one of
that was just like, right, from now on, always have a guitar pick because you just never know.
I thought it's quite a good way to impress girls at parties as well. If there's ever a guitar comes out, you just, I've got a pick, I can play. And then you just like bang a few tunes out.
Were there certain go-to songs that you'd be like, this always makes
I play like Muse and stuff, like a bit of Plug-in Baby always impresses someone.
Yeah, nice. Good.
At parties I used to go to, the boys used to play Mr. Brightside.
Yeah, no. Good.
What, that opening riff?
That was sing the whole song.
Oh, nice.
Play and sing the whole song, or like
I did do
a lot was a bit of My Chemical Romance and a bit of this is the age, the era.
Mr. Brightside is an interesting song because I think it's a good song. It's like melodically and lyrically, it's a good song. It's just so overplayed that it just and it's become a wedding song, hasn't it? It's become.
Funnily enough, isn't it about death? Is it about death?
It's about murder or something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
didn't know.
Serial killer or something like that. Yeah.
Wow, didn't know.
It's got the in the air kind of actually a good festival anthem.
Yeah. I didn't know that. So
yeah.
It's
I was saying the other day that it will class as a dark anthem because it's a popular song but it's actually about like a really dark subject.
That's interesting because it's always just. Yeah. I was at a wedding, I was at a hotel a few years ago, and there was a wedding happening outside. I remember sort of sitting in the hotel and listening as they played the band played each next song, and it was just like everything you would expect. Mr. Brightside, top loader dancing in the moonlight, me too. Like it's awful. That one and Lovely Day. Right? No. Those are like two
Sounds
of my
like every wedding.
Yeah, so somehow it's found its way into that oeuvre of songs, but where it's quite a kind of dark indie rock song, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I digress. Now, get back to your festival questions because I have prepared answers, so let's not waste them.
Okay. I mean, you've got to do for Vinny as well. All right, so do yours first. What was the first festival that you ever went to, and tell us something memorable about it?
Mine was Reading '97, and it was an amazing lineup. It was lots of back there. I don't know if it's still the same now, but Reading was more like the rock festival, and Glastonbury was more like the pop festival. So Reading '97 had Marilyn Manson, Metallica, Terrorvision, Three Colours Red, Feeder, Descendants, and I remember running. Because I could hear the opening part Feeder's set, and I remember literally running across the field as the opening riff started, going, I've got to get to the front in time. And that kind of just a jubilant excitement for music that you kind of, for bands you have when you're that age, you just have to get to the front. And that was a point where not a lot of people know this, but Feeder, when they started, were quite a heavy band. They were almost like a British Smashing Pumpkins. And the first releases they did like an EP and a bunch of singles, and it was all pretty like heavy stuff, like kind of Siamese Dream style riffs and great melodies. And then later on, when they achieved more mainstream popularity, they, in my opinion, became a bit more like a bland indie band. But those first few EPs and singles were really exciting, and I just remember like racing across the field to see it. That will always stay with me. What about you?
Mine was Reading '99, I think, or maybe. Which
I was also at.
Yeah, I think it was Foo Fighters were headlining, and the first band I only managed to see two bands because I went for the day. So Muse was the first band I saw. And I remember like when they were playing Unintended, like it's quite an acoustic-y song, but then on the chorus the bass comes in. And it's like boom, and that's like this bass sound was just so massive. I was like, this is so awesome, and that really got me inspired to go and learn bass. So
that's brilliant. That's so a moment that changes the direction.
I remember feeling it's like, whoa, it's such a fat bass sound. It was wicked. Yeah.
I also went to Reading '99, and I only went for one day. Yeah. And one of my enduring memory of that was that at the time I didn't have a mobile phone, so I went on my own, and the idea was, my friends were going to meet me at 2:00 at the Warped Tour, right, at the Warped Tour tent. And so I got to find it's great, and they just weren't there. And I was like, well, that's it. How do I possibly find anybody now? Because I'm just wandering around a festival. And the only way that I knew that I could definitely meet people was if I go into the pit when certain bands are playing in the Warped Tour, they'll probably be there.
Right.
So
you'll just crowd surf and look down at the same time. And see
so that's how I ended up meeting up with my friends, because I just knew they'd be there for that band. Yes, it worked. It worked, nice. Yeah. But it was that kind of that time where if the people didn't agree to meet you at the meeting place, that was it. It was game over.
It's also super hard to meet at a festival, back then anyway, because you get so easily distracted or whatever. And even if you had a phone, like there's no GPS or anything like that, so it's really
It runs out of battery on the third day anyway, so it's basically
although you had like
straight
a
back to the
Nokia,
90s.
bloody Nokia 3210 or whatever.
Oh, then,
it lasts forever.
Ever since smartphones came in, it was like, the first day was all like, oh yeah, hi, how you doing? Yeah, have a great time. And then the third day is like feral. I don't know where anyone is.
Yeah, you couldn't drop a pin or anything back then.
Yeah, I suppose now they've got charging stations and stuff like that, so you can do it. Interesting, they had Hellfest. They probably have it at a load of festivals. Test how drunk you are stations.
Yeah, I smashed that.
Yeah, like it's.
I won.
In retrospect, I realised it was to check if you could drive or not. But initially, I thought it was like, you're not drunk enough. You're not having enough fun.
There should have been a bar next to it. So, like, test how drunk you are. If you didn't get, like, if it didn't go ding, 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 then it was like, here's a shot.
It's like one of those test your love meter things. It's like
where you hit the thing with a hammer or something.
Well, it's like where you hold the thing and it's like your hot stuff or whatever. But it's like, it just comes up. You're like, have another one. Come back later. You're not drunk enough.
Yeah, I didn't actually use it or look at it, but I admit, is that so you can see if you need to be more drunk? But no, it's obviously for safety purposes. Yeah.
You could have used it because you would have been like, look at me, I got 0.
Yeah, like really happy, really smug with my 0 score.
I can drive, you can't.
Yeah.
Bong.
Bong. But speaking about sort of systems in festivals, I know one of your questions, Nat, was about most memorable food that you'd had at a festival.
I was going to ask that one, yeah. I was going to ask that. What's your most memorable food?
It was actually Hellfest last year, and the reason was because it was such a hectic day. Because even though we were lucky enough to have a tour manager that time, it was still really, really hectic to try and organise everything. And it put me in a quandary because we had food tickets to go and get food, but the place where we were supposed to get food from was about 5 miles away.
It was like an hour to get there. Yeah.
And you had to... And you had to
artists' food.
Yeah, the artists.
Near the stage,
And you had to, from where our stage was, and to get there, you had to walk through the blazing midday sun.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a quandary because I'm really hungry, but also I'm terrified of the sun. So what do I do? Which do I choose?
Yeah.
And in the end, I chose not eating, which rather than like getting really sunburned and passing out. But the reason why it was so memorable is because I went into the artist area and there was somebody there to whom, because I couldn't buy any food because you can't use money at this festival. You have to charge up like a card or an app or something, which you then use to buy food with. So you put money on a device or a wristband or something, and then you use that to buy food and drink. And for whatever reasons, I didn't have that, or I couldn't do that, or whatever it was. And so someone actually bought me a baked potato out of the kindness of their heart. And it was just the most magnificent meal. And the sense of like, I was super hungry, and the sense of relief that I was going to get to eat before the show, just made the whole experience of this was the greatest baked potato of all time.
Nice. It was just a normal potato, but it's so hot there it baked itself.
That's right. It was a raw potato.
What'd you have on it?
I think it was maybe some sort of like vegetable chili.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I remember at Hellfest, like Vincent was so determined to get his catering food because we had the free tickets that we all started walking to this place that was like an hour away across the other side of the whole festival. You had to go through like all the crowds and stuff. So it wasn't just like far to walk, but it was like really difficult to get to. And I think about halfway through, me and Natalie were like, we keep walking past all these food trucks. Why are we so determined to go and get this catering meal? Why don't we just get one here and like have a look around the festival? So that's what we did instead. We gave up and took the plunge and enjoyed the festival rather than just trying to wade through to get our free meal.
Absolutely. Because what's more important at that point is it saving £7, but then like having to walk for an hour,
and missing all the festival because you don't actually see anything.
But it's free.
It's ours. We earned it.
Yeah, exactly. It's my right. I'm gonna have this free food
first. You must walk to the place.
So that was our payment for the festival, wasn't it? Free food.
And a lovely stroll in the summer French blazing sun.
That's really hot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's good.
So that was your most memorable food because of the kindness and the way.
Hellfest, I would say, was
Yeah.
the best festival I've ever been to in terms of like
best festival you ever been to.
Yeah, I think like in terms of like the actual thing, how themed it was. Like all the different areas of the place was themed, and there was loads of like sculptures and like cool shit going on, and like they'd made it all like a post-apocalyptic wasteland. So it's really cool like theme, and it wasn't just like here's like a load of people in a field. So they put a load of effort into like making a wicked place. I mean, Glastonbury's pretty cool, but that's like fucking loads of bits and different things. I like the theme in of Hellfest. It was wicked.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You felt like you'd gone to a different reality.
Yeah.
It was very immersive. Another festival that I really like is Bloodstock. It's smaller and it's got more of a community feel, and everything there pretty much is alternative music based. So whereas some festivals, it's sort of a bit diffuse in terms of, yes, it is, you are seeing metal bands, but it's like a sort of generic, like a lot of the others was very generic. Everything felt very in keeping with the vibe of Bloodstock there, and again, being a slightly smaller
metally,
festival. It is a bit more metally. And maybe that's sometimes what happens is that often with the metal, with more sort of extreme music, the sense of community is stronger because people feel that they've got more of a kind of a special niche rather than simply, hey, we're going to a festival to watch. What's the first band? Like I think Shed 7.
Yeah, I always think like. Growing up, people was like, "Oh, watch out the metal people. They're going to be like, dangerous or whatever." But like they say, like the metal community, especially at festivals, is like the friendliest place ever. Like everyone is so like just out for having a good time and like chatty and looking after each other. It's like the friendliest thing, especially like even in the mosh pit. Like you think if you don't know what you get, if you're like a normie looking from the outside, you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's some dangerous shit." But it's not. It's actually
nicest front of a gig I've ever been to. Limp Bizkit.
Yeah,
Wow.
very good. It's a nice community.
Yeah.
What do you put that down to? Why do you think that is actually?
I guess it's a shared love of like, oh, you like metal, I like metal. We've got a friend. We can be friends.
You don't need to be anything
really
else
like,
other than a metal or music fan, right? It's
like
you look at each other like you like this thing that I like, and it means so much to me. Yeah. That's it. They don't require any other criteria about the person other than the shared enjoyment.
Yeah, it's that thing we've said before, that you could be anywhere in the world, and if you see somebody else with a band t-shirt of a band you like, or just a band t-shirt within the genre you like, you're like, oh yeah, got a friend, give you the nod, like it.
Exactly. Yeah, like if I saw someone else wearing like a punk t-shirt today, I'd be like, boss, when I go out later.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if it's the same for dog owners. Like if you've got the same dog as someone, you're like, yep. Or because like,
or is there competition? You're like, oh,
your Dalmatian's better than mine.
Oh, look at that bitch.
Literally. Very good. Sometimes certain cars will signal each other because it's like, oh, you're in a Mini as well. So,
yeah.
So it's a similar kind of thing, isn't it? I
think my dad used to always wave at cars that were the same as one we had at the time. Well, it's one of us.
Does it like a universal thing, or was
I
that?
don't know.
Do people do that? Is that? Do you have to have like a really distinctive / embarrassing car for that to work?
I think so. I think if you've got like a Ford Mondeo, people don't really do it. Yeah. But it's more like if you've got a Mini or a Citroen what's that? CV Citroen, that mad one.
But then sometimes it'd be like, why is that guy waving at me? Because it wouldn't be. It's like I
might do it if I see someone else on a similar bus to me.
Okay, well, like a red one.
Yeah. Like, oh, they're on a red bus too. We're the same.
Like, nice vest.
Yeah. Well, that would be anyone else with a vest, they get the nod.
Right, okay, sorry, we've gone off on one.
How about vests?
What do you guys think Vincent's favourite festival food is going to be?
Oh, what's that? Didn't he have a giant waffle or something?
He had so many, right? So last week, during the week, I've been watching all the old Diamond casts, right? Which is really sad, but I was just trying to see from the beginning to now, how far we've come.
Yeah, progress.
And it's really good, actually. It's really nice to watch. It's really nice to see. And one of the things I watched was the one after Hellfest, where we're talking about it, and we spend about 10 minutes talking about all the desserts that Vincent had. And it's really funny because he's talking about the waffle, and he had an ice cream and a sorbet and all different sorts of things. So yeah, he really enjoyed the desserts in France. But yeah, I'm going to go with the waffle as well. Yeah, that's a good one.
And he's quite curious about things as well. Like if he sees an exciting new dessert that he's never had before, he's like, "What's that? I have to have it." Which is kind of, it's cool, isn't it? And I think his attitude towards like fun food tends to be, as I understand it, he's super disciplined at home, and then when he's out on tour, it's just like, and now I can just do whatever I want. This is great. I'm gonna like really enjoy waffles or whatever it is. So. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think that's probably the correct answer.
Nice. We'll find out at some point. This will be interesting. So the question about the first festival was from Andy, who also said, what was the first festival you attended and what was the first festival that you played?
The first festival Diamond Black played would be Hellfest. Although I guess we played at Hard Rock Hell, if that counts.
Yeah, that was and then we played the
Antenna
other
Festival or something.
Antenna.
And remember the two
V2A festival.
V2A, yeah, that's wicked. Actually, we've done a few.
And the Barn Stomper.
Yeah, the Barn Stomper, that's wicked. That's fun.
You did loads of festivals last year.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so there's quite a lot.
The very first festival I ever played was actually my very first gig outside of school. So not just playing in assembly, was the Patchway Festival. Patchway is a small suburb in Bristol. And we played on the back of a truck. And that sounds way more exciting than it really was.
Was the truck moving?
Yeah, no. We were playing on the back of this sort of flatbed truck, and we did a number of covers and a number of our own songs, but it was like proper community fete. So I don't think of it as a festival. It really was like a fete.
So like a raffle
there was
stuff.
Yeah, there was a raffle, there was bunting. In the one photograph I've got of us playing on stage, I'm like so into it. I'm like full on, yeah, really. And then you can see in the reflection of the glass behind me, opposite, there's someone who appears to be selling flower pots. It really was that sort of like local community vibe, but it was extremely exciting. And just playing outside as a kid playing a show outside on a Saturday, you felt like you were in Wayne's World or something. It was like it was Waynestock.
Nice.
That was really, that was the first festival I ever played.
Me and Natalie played a one-day festival on Hastings Seafront before. That was fun.
We did.
That was good because you're like people sitting on the beach and you're playing out, looking out at the sea. So that's quite fun. Quite nice.
Yeah, you have the whole world out there in front of you, and it's like looking at them. And there's loads of people just sitting on the beach, so they could choose where they sat. And it was good. There was loads of bands on that day, and very very much like put your stuff on the stage, and then play your set, and then as you're leaving the stage, don't forget to take your stuff with you, and that's it. And you've got to go. It's very quick.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about festivals is that there's such a quick turnover, and often you don't get sound check.
No.
Sometimes you barely get a line check, and you don't often get to use your own stuff. And I think sometimes people can, when you just go to a festival as a punter, you don't realise that the band is up there and probably can't really hear themselves and aren't using their own stuff. And it's a really, really kind of difficult situation compared to the ideal scenario that they'd be in to actually really deliver the show properly. I think that pretty much happens all the way up. And I think AC/DC are the only band I've heard of who actually bring their own stage to a festival in order so they can have it exactly the way they want it to be.
It's like a festival. It's like 3 hours of sitting around waiting, doing nothing, and then 10 minutes, go, and then you're on stage.
Yeah, so it's quite hectic like that, isn't it? You have lots of sitting around and not really knowing what's going on.
So you get a bit worried as well because it's like you don't have the sort of comfort of knowing you've done a sound check or anything. So it's very much like, oh shit, I hope this is going to go.
Yeah, because one of the best feelings about a show is like you do the sound check, it's really good, you can hear everything, you're really happy, and then you leave your stuff on the stage, and all you have to do is walk back on and pick up your stuff. And that's like a really nice feeling to go off the sound check from that. The festival is like the opposite. You're kind of stuck next to the stage with your gear that's been transported from like one van to another place and over to like a pile of stuff that you then have to race onto the stage when it's your time to play.
There's like 10 sound guys all on the stage doing different things as well, so it's like very much a scramble.
Yeah,
it's got to be done so quickly.
I was actually pretty proud of us at Hellfest because we were very organised. I think there were definitely spreadsheets involved, and
there's dedication, wasn't there? Like, do the background banners, and I did the background banners and the bass stuff. and then we had a tour manager who helped Vincent get.
Oh, I did water and towels.
Yeah, so it's a delegation.
Yeah, and we had a tech as well. So
Yeah.
it was, and I think that's a really important skill to have in a crisis situation, but a challenging situation like that you can say, right, everybody, just bong. Just do these two things, and you just do these two things, and don't worry about anything else. Just trust that everybody's doing their two things. And as someone who has micromanaged a lot, I've often found that quite hard to do. But at that show, that was a paragon really of everybody had their two things or whatever it was, and we just focused on those. And that was such a great show. And that was a real achievement, I think. And I think that circles to one of your other questions, Nat, about particularly important festival shows to us.
Yeah.
I was going to say, definitely something that makes it easier when you're playing a festival is if you have your own sound man or your own tour manager like we have, because then you can have someone that goes out and stands in the crowd and can relay to the sound desk if, turn the bass up a bit or whatever. So it's like, you have that sort of comfort that like, okay, well, someone's out there like looking out for us. It's not just us up on our own. Yeah, and hopefully it sounds good. Someone that hopefully knows the songs as well, because that's good. So that's a way to mitigate the lack of sound check if you've got your own person out front.
Yeah, exactly.
So Blueberry Queen says, where do you spend time at a festival when you're not on stage? Do you get like a dressing tent? And also, do you sleep in if your spot to play is late in the day?
Well, given the Diamond Black experience is that we've had, you remember there was one where the backstage was literally behind the stage, and we were sat there with fans plugged in, hair straighteners plugged in, to any kind of socket that we could find. And
because it was outside, there was no shelf, there was no thing. You're literally outside in the grass, and we'd put a mirror and stuff up for people to do their hair.
Yeah, and also use the van as well for shade and
that's hot, wasn't it? Fuck.
Yeah, purposes. So it just changes, and I think times when I've played shows on a level where there was a bus and a backstage, that you can sometimes you're given a room for the whole day, sometimes you're given a room for an allocated period of time. So if you're not playing until a certain time, then you don't get to use your dressing room until X amount of time before your stage set. So you can't, if you turn up to the festival, you won't have anywhere to go other than sitting in the catering. So sometimes you have to turn up late because there's just not enough space for you if you turn up earlier.
Things have staggered out quite a lot throughout the days. I remember at Hellfest we had to get there really early, because then there was going to be like a shuttle bus that would take our equipment. We had to unload our equipment into the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus would take our equipment to the stage, and then we'd have to take the equipment out and leave it behind backstage. But that was before the stage had opened, so that's like before midday, even though we weren't playing for like another 6-7 hours or something.
That was quite harried, wasn't it? Because it was a sense of, we want to do this thing now, but we can't do the thing now, so we just sort of wait until we can do the thing.
Yeah. They're like, if you don't meet the shuttle bus in time, you'll have to carry the equipment. Okay, we can't do that.
pretty stringent on that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess because they've got a lot to do on one stage, they have to stagger things.
Yeah, and they have to have everything there at the time when change it because they've got very strict.
Yeah, and you can't have all the bands turning up with all their gear at once, because then it would just clog everything up, I guess.
Yeah, so you don't really get to go around and see the festival on your downtime at all. I mean, I think you said before you only went to see one band.
Yeah, and we managed to run over after our set. Well, after the set, I remember we'd had a little porter cabin. That was our backstage. I remember watching the England football game on my phone, so I remember that. And then we ran over and watched The Offspring. I think that's about it. Or Marilyn Manson, one of the two.
Offspring. Yeah, there's a bit where you went crowd surfing and you talked about it on the cast. I watched it.
Okay.
But yeah, so you did that, and then I suppose the other things is you don't get to actually. Yeah, I mean, some festivals you don't even get tickets for the whole weekend, do you? Or you're not allowed to stay for the whole weekend, or are you?
I think there are some where you buy a day ticket and that's the day you go on.
When
Yeah,
I was
as in, like,
when I
you
used to
can watch-
DJ, it was wicked because when you DJ, you have to DJ like every day of the festival, so you get like a production pass, and then you can just go like anywhere throughout the daytime, and you're not needed until like midnight, so you can actually go and enjoy everything.
That's
cool. Watch bands on the side of the stage and stuff.
Yeah, now as a musician, usually you can only go on the day that you're playing. Sometimes there are ways of. I guess it depends how high up you're on the bill. If you're Metallica, you can just probably go whenever you want.
well, yeah.
And there's also stuff about watching from the side of the stage as well. There are certain bands you can, and then it reaches a certain point in the day, and they stop letting people watch from the side of the stage as the band becomes bigger and more popular, which you kind of understand because like everybody would want to like cram to the side of the stage to watch Metallica or whatever.
I guess a lot of bands don't stay multiple days because say you're traveling to France to do a festival, then you probably book some shows around the same time in the same area.
They're usually on tour as well, aren't
Yeah,
they?
so that's what I mean. So
festival.
I'd assume you'd probably go and play your own gig in the same weekend or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So often that's the case that, as you say, Nat, the bands are playing as part of a tour. So they're not just like, hey, we're going to hang out all weekend. They're probably playing a different festival on the Saturday than they are on the Friday.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Kim says, how does it feel to play in bright daylight?
Well,
And everybody, all the people in Discord were like, made loads of bands about vampires.
we said that earlier.
As if you're vampires.
Yeah.
Well, it can be a bit disconcerting. I remember sound checking for certain bands when we were sound checking and in the afternoon. And it was like, go up to the mic and just sing a bit, but then go back and hide in the shade again at the back of the stage. There was one band, in fact, Cellar Darling, who we toured with once. They were playing at a festival in France. And because they were playing at about 3 p.m. or when it was blazing sun, the guitarist's foot pedal just died because the heat had made it just like malfunction, because it was just this black foot pedal board that had this like intense sun shining on it. So as well as it being sort of uncomfortable, it can also be quite problematic in terms of gear. And you'll look to the stage and they've covered up the amps with like towels and stuff to stop the heat, stop them overheating.
I find it's a bit weird. I feel like a lot more exposed on stage. Like when I'm like rocking out and spinning around and doing stuff, I feel a bit more like I look a bit silly, but I don't, because like you don't have all the lights and the smoke machines and all stuff like that. But then it's really nice because you can actually sort of look out into the crowd a bit more and actually see people. So because you're not blinded by light or from the stage lights. So there's positives and negatives.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because when you're moving around on stage when it's lit, there's a lot more kind of drama and theatricality to the way that you appear because of the angles and the shadows and the silhouettes and things and the smoke. But as you say, it's a bit more exposed. But I remember actually now thinking that when we played Hellfest, I was super happy that when we played, it was a bit overcast. And I think as we were approaching the set time and I noticed that it had gone grey, I was like, yes, it's amazing.
We had a good time of day. It was getting dusky.
Yeah. That was such a great festival for us to play. Not only because we played, everything really fell into place for the show, but also it'd been so much work for us to get to that point in terms of the lead up to it, the months prior to it, getting the gig itself, but then actually all the events surrounding the show, the shows we did either side, all the practicalities, all the logistics, and we'd made it happen. And I felt it was really exciting, and I felt really proud of us.
Me too.
You did really well.
Thanks. Well, give us a cheer. There you go.
Endersu would love to hear how you approach a festival in terms of your set list and how you intend to interact with the crowd. And is it different to versus how you would approach a typical non-festival show? And if you play with a different attitude, different mindset.
What do you think, Adam?
I mean, you normally have a shorter set time than we would normally play. Well, obviously, I don't know, we haven't headlined and stuff, but from our experience, it's normally you're allocated a shorter set length, so you have to cut some out of the set. I think that's what we normally have to do.
Yeah, and you generally have to, well, you don't have to.
And also people aren't coming to see you, so it's more like you've got to play to, people that are just walking past and, impress people.
Yeah, yes. So often bands will play a lot of their bigger hits, and because as you say, they're playing not only for fans who aren't people who aren't necessarily the fans, but also just people who've just turned up to an event rather than and be like, oh, I know this one. But then equally, you do get people who are like, right at the front, super excited and know all the songs. But yeah, it's a different sort of dynamic.
It's more like doing a greatest hits gig sometimes. Sometimes we see bands.
Sugarpunk says, do you like playing at music festivals?
Yes.
What's the best and worst parts of playing at festivals?
I think the best part is there is something exciting about playing outside to a lot of people. And it's quite an iconic thing to do as a band, that you're actually getting to play on the main stage at such and such at such a time, or on the second, or wherever you're playing. There are certain festivals that maybe you've aspired towards during your musical career, and that can feel super exciting. That we're playing this festival with such and such a band. I think again the challenge is the hectic nature of it, and the kind of the slightly chaotic nature of it, of just not really knowing what's happening and when it's happening, and I think that can be challenging.
I can't really think of many negative things, because I can't really think of many negative things about playing gigs in general, because it's my favourite thing to do in the world. It's like, but I guess the one difference between playing a festival and like a normal show is like they're normally in the middle of nowhere, so it's harder to get to, and there's nothing really else around. So I guess that would be the only challenge. It's more like logistically getting there, and also like you can't go out. If we're playing a gig in London, we can go and have a look around London. If you're playing, you're very much, if you're playing at a festival, you're stuck at the festival. But that's normally a good thing, because it's normally fun. So
yeah, exactly.
They're normally in the middle of like a really random place, like a field and stuff, so it's not hard to get to. And get lost. Finding your way into the festival is the hardest part of playing there.
And finding your way to the toilet.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you got VIP, obviously.
VIP.
That was quite good. Nat, I've got some specific, quite good answers to a couple of things. If you want to look at those.
Yeah, no. Well, why don't you tell me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the questions I'd like you to ask me are chaotic festival experience first.
Okay, let's do that. Just go for it. Just tell us your anecdotes.
Okay.
What is this? Is this the question about? Or tell us about a chaotic festival experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey Ben, tell us about a chaotic festival experience.
You're going to keep all this in, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, it's good.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right.
And have you ever had any chaotic festival experiences?
Yes, I have. Brilliant that you asked. Thanks for bringing that up. Really weird that you brought that up. That's great. So there are two that spring to mind. One is I once played, I think it was probably a Friday and a Saturday, one in Germany, one in Belgium, festivals. And on the Friday night, I got extremely drunk with a band called the Death Stars. And I fell over a very small wall, but behind the wall was a very long drop.
Oh no!
And not like a sheer cliff face, but some sort of like hill down into a car park. And I sort of fell down this hill a bit, and it's all really funny, brilliant. And then the next day I wake up, I'm like so hungover, and we're driving to the next festival. I'm like, I've got to drink this Fanta. I really want to drink this Fanta. I'm trying to open this bottle of Fanta, and I'm like, I can't open the bottle of Fanta. What's going on? What's wrong? And I'd really badly sprained my wrist, which isn't great when you're a guitarist. And we got to Belgium, and they took me to hospital there, and they figured out that I'd got this sort of sprain. So they put this, and it was this hand, so the fretting hand, so they put this like, what do you call it, like a bandage or a cast or something on it. And I was like, I've got to play a show tonight, and I was really fortunate because the nature of that band that I was playing at that time, it wasn't super technical, so it was actually all right. It was mostly chords and a few simple lead lines, so I could still do the gig. So that was good. That was pretty harrowing. Yeah. Especially, I think we might, if not headlining, we were fairly high up on the bill, and it was like, can we do the show? And why, and we wouldn't be able to do it just because of like some drunken stupidity that I'd done the night before.
You see, then you need to be like, is there a guitarist in the audience? And then the guy with the pig would be like, hello.
Yeah, not just one song, the entire set. Are you up for it? So yeah, that was one. And another really memorable one was in Sibiu, which is in Romania. And it's so bizarre because when we were on stage at night, the place was just swarming with moths. Okay, like really big moths, like full on, like I've got an example of a moth-sized thing.
Like, are we talking like that, or like bigger than?
I think the second one.
The second one, wingspan, like that.
Yeah, it was like full on. If they like make a sound when they hit you.
Oh, wow.
And it was full on like Homer Simpson. They're in my hair. And I even remember them.
Probably your hair,
like. Well, yeah. I even remember looking down and they were like on, like getting like caught up in the strings on the fretboard and stuff. It was pretty Indiana Jones style kind of.
That's weird.
Did it interfere with your guitar playing? Like,
it did a bit. Yeah, I mean, they probably like doing a solo, playing better than me. I could have used some of them when I strained my wrist. I could have got them in to do the job for me. Got those moths over, guys. I can't really play tonight. Can you just like do loads of cool stuff on the fretboard?
I've got a story, but it's a bit horrible. So I don't know if I should.
Is it about moths?
No, it's not. I was at a festival with three of my mates, and it was one of the really, really horrible weather ones. Like really shit, like the mud.
In your tent,
yeah. Like mud is so much that like it sucks your shoe off when you try and pull your foot up and stuff like that. You know. And like we're far deep into the campsite, and like I can't remember what band we really wanted to see, but like there was no way to make it in time, and like everyone's wandering around like covered in shit, and it's all really horrible. And so we're trying to get back, and then we notice that the toilets are being emptied by the toilet lorry, and the toilet lorry starts pulling off, and they going through the campsite, and everyone's getting out of the way for it. So the ideal thing was we jumped on the back of the toilet lorry and like toilet lorry surfed all the way through the campsite up to the main stage, and we got there in time to see the band. And everyone at the side was like, "Grr." And like it's funny you say about Indiana Jones. I was thinking it was like I felt like I was just like Indiana Jones on the back of a train, like wicked, and it was really cool. But then I was on the back of a shit lorry, and now it's
like skidding through the mud.
Yeah, no, it's like I jumped onto the back of it. It was pretty cool. Oh, pretty gross. But
I was imagining like Back to the Future when he's holding onto the back of the truck. With
we're sort of like that, but like we did make it to the main stage, but then it was pretty horrible.
Yeah, that's good initiative, isn't it? It's good initiative.
I'd say that's quite heroic.
I was quite proud because everyone was like looking at us. I mean, thinking like half like that's gross, but half like why didn't I think of that?
Oh, I did think of it, but I thought it would be too gross.
You can't keep Adam from a band he wants to see.
No, exactly.
I know that.
That's pretty gross.
Well, yeah, you started off talking about that feeling, Ben, when you run to the stage because you have to get there when you hear the band that you want to see. So yeah, you can't be that feeling. It's inside. It bubbles up outside of a human completely, and you have to do anything you can to get there. I get that feeling.
Band.
Yeah.
Yes.
One thing that I'd like to ban from festivals, which I think was a great question, by the way.
Oh yeah, well I've got my little quick fire round at the end. If you want to do the quick fire round,
yes,
I'm going to start with that one, and then I'm going to end on a nice one from Brianna, which is what's a festival that you'd love to play that haven't had the opportunity yet? So, Dream Festival. So, quick fire round. What would you most like to ban from festivals? Those
big inflatable balls. The people knock about in the audience, right? Because I was playing in a band once, and I spent most of the set just trying to fight them off, and people were just way more interested in like hitting, which is probably something to say for the quality, how good we were or whatever. But they were way more interested in like hitting these and they were massive balls around, and that was what the gig was. And people were just way more focused on that than actually the gig, and they were just like having to avoid or fend off these massive inflatable spheres during the show, all because Motorola wanted to advertise their product.
Oh, well, you still remember it was Motorola.
I do. So
and now you've advertised it again.
Damn you, Motorola!
It's funny you should say that because I saw just before this, I saw an Instagram meme or reel of Metallica playing, and it was showing that Lars has has a actual goalkeeper for the big balls to avoid hitting him on the stage. And there's a guy just like defending him.
Even at their level, they're still menaced by inflatable spheres.
Okay.
Next question. Tent, van or hotel?
Hotel.
Who takes the longest to get ready backstage?
Adam.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But probably. Yeah, I've got to do my hair and do my makeup and stuff. Probably.
Yeah. If to get ready, you mean like putting on stage outfit. If it's just get ready in general, I think it's probably Vincent's just warming up from midday on his warm up pad. Next.
Bosh.
What's the biggest we did it moment ever at a festival?
It's going to be Hellfest. I said before, I think just that level of achievement for something that was a big challenge for us. And I remember when we were playing the set, I just felt this sense of jubilation of it felt like we'd passed a threshold. This was a milestone. We'd moved into a new era by doing that show. It was really special.
Yeah, man, I agree.
What would be the best, your dream festival lineup, or the band you haven't seen yet that you really would love to see at a festival?
Oh, shit. I should have prepared for this one. Dream festival lineup. Well, I've seen.
You don't have to do the whole lineup. You don't have to do like every day. Just like, who would you like to see headline the main stage?
Because the only two bands that I really like that I've never seen are Bush and No Doubt. So they'd have to get on there. I've seen literally every other band that I like, but I've never seen Bush or No Doubt. And which is ironic because they used to be married. So that'd have been easy.
Good point.
Yeah. So they're going on my list.
I think if it was my choice, I would have like one day of bands on the main stage, and you'd probably have like 8 bands, and I'd probably have Judas Priest headlining and maybe Strung Out opening, and in between. I always try to get us in there somewhere. Can we play as well?
Yeah.
My dream band to see at festival is us.
Yeah.
But then you're not seeing it. You're not seeing yourselves.
I'd look up at the screen as we're playing. And then between that, be other bands that I really love of varying sizes that I'd have to figure out where would they go on the bill. It's like Seven Dust would probably be in there, and a few others. So but in terms of like a band I wish I'd seen but never have, I'm trying to think of who that might be, because I've been quite fortunate. I've seen a lot of bands. What I do think I would like to see that I haven't seen is bands in a certain era when I was too young to see them. So certain bands that when it was like their kind of prime, to see them at that time in that sort of age, like going to see a huge band in like the mid 80s, like
T-Rex or something.
Yeah, even before, like right back before we were alive, saying stuff like that. I think there's a lot more. I'd like to see that stuff, or seeing a band AC/DC when they were maybe like Academy size, so in the late 70s, and they're playing to 1,500 people somewhere. Like something like that would just be incredible, because now we've thought of AC/DC as a stadium band for 30 years and maybe more, whereas there was a time where they were playing to 500 people, 1,000 people, and what those kind of shows were like.
Yeah, I wonder what that would have been like, because you associate all their songs with big anthemic festivals now, don't you? But obviously there was a time when it was pub rock.
If I could be a fantasy thing, I'd put the Ramones on there. So I'd love to have seen Ramones. And I'd love to know what it's actually like to hear them, like in the real, like through amps rather than just through stereo, actually hear them in the room playing as well, which would be wicked.
Yeah. I sometimes wonder if some of these stadium bands in the mid 80s, if all this is true about the excess that they, like Motley Crue and whatever, like could they actually play well if they were that kind of messed up and they were playing, and everyone else in the audience was like, yay, whatever, this is awesome, and no one's filming it. It's nothing. Were they good? Was it good?
Have you seen some footage of Motley Crue now? It's probably. Oh wow! Let's not go into that. Okay, Quickfire.
Finally, what's a festival you would love to play but haven't had the opportunity yet? This is from Brianna.
Sweden Rock.
Ooh.
Nice. Oh, good choice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Warped Tour is still going. I always wanted to go on the Warped Tour, but I don't know if that's still going.
They did a Warped Tour reunion, I think,
Yeah.
didn't they, recently?
Or Woodstock,
So
but I
it's
don't
not
think
still
Woodstock's going
It's
either.
just did an anniversary. Woodstock probably not since the 99 episode.
Yeah. I would love Warped Tour, but it's always going to be a thing I wanted to go and see.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's going.
Right, so
there you go.
let's
Bosh.
book Diamond Black for Sweden Rock and
Sweden
the Warped
Rock.
Tour next year.
Sweden Rock's doable.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Nice.
And go.
Cool. Thank you for questions,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
questions, everyone. Thank you so much.
And yeah, we'll be back. Vincent will be back next week.
Yeah, well, we'll be filming a special one from our video shoot.
Oh yeah, of course we are. It's the video. Oh yeah. Video fundraiser update.
Yeah, okay, really well. We can still get involved if you go to diamondblack.com, diamondblackofficial.com, /store, and you can get your name in the credits. We're going to keep the fundraiser thing going up until the video is released. So even after we filmed it, you can still get your name in the credits because it all goes to help the band. So
yeah, naming the credits.
Involved.
Amazing certificate signed by us.
Oh, I've done the badges. Yeah,
I've seen the badges now.
Yeah.
I've seen the badges, and I must say, I'm delighted.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, they look really sick. Yeah, so we've got a Fall Into the Silence themed badge set, which will be coming at you if you get involved.
And yeah, you've got the two opinions
really
there
good.
you've got the two opinions there of the badges. They look really sick, and I'm delighted.
Yeah, nice.
So you've got those polar ends of the enthusiasm there.
Cool.
They're really good. I've seen them too. And
that in the middle there, they're really good.
You guys are going to love them.
Yeah, nice. Cool. So thank you for everyone that's donated so far. Please do help out if you haven't. We'll see you next week.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Whoop.
Thanks for watching that episode of Diamond Cast. If you liked it, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment and carry on the conversation either here or on Discord, where we have a nice community of people who chat to each other all week long. It'll be lovely to see you there. We are now 20 simple watch hours away from reaching our first YouTube goal of monetization. And that is all thanks to you watching Diamond Cast over the past 11 months. It has truly been a wonderful ride, and we cannot wait to share with you what we are doing in the future. This week, stay tuned on Diamond Black socials, because I will be reporting from the inside of the video shoot for Fall Into the Silence, where you will get unlimited content that I will be posting every single day. And yeah, I can't predict what's going to happen, but it's going to be fun. So join me, and don't forget to hit the bink.